Okay, folks, let's talk about the retribution faction. I'll do a video on, of course, my negative and positives of watching AEW because it's been over a year now, and there's already a lot of stuff going on AEW. There's certainly negatives and some positives on my opinions on how the show is done. Obviously, so there's some fans warming up to the glimpse of watching AEW, but my opinions will be my opinion. Fair warning, but it's redundant anyway, and it's really freaking useless to even say that because comment sections exist. So let's just get into this faction now. You have heard over some of my reviews. I called them a spur of midgets. They're literally just the little people's court fighting back, or the people that were in the Little Rumble from I think this was '07. They're literally every WWE short joke that was used from Ruthless Aggression to early PG era Raw. They are literally just a minute joke that WWE is probably going to take seriously for at least a month and a half. They'll have some baby faces fight over the freaking Retribution faction or cut it off because they did prevail higher up in the ratings, obviously, for certain stuff going on. But if it's because of Retribution causing the numbers to skyrocket, then there's weird stuff going on, because I hate Retribution. I feel like it's a joke faction. I feel like it's completely pointless. It has no direction. There's no mystery or anything going on in the faction. Thanks, they barely talk other than saying it's their house now. They're not interesting. They're incredibly short. Don't look like they can take out anybody unless they have legit weapons to take out a wrestler. And they haven't been going for anything except destroying WWE property. And people will probably try to just remark the Nexus was also a breakout group. And even though they were still jobbers. Since SummerSlam, they turned into jobbers. And most of these guys are either unemployed, work for Impact, or just David Utunga. And if you're David Utunga, I'm sorry, I'll buy you a noose. It's just, come on, man. This really what they think is going to captivate viewers? A bunch of faceless idiots that a guy from the Black Mask guy that you can literally play as a playable wrestler on SPR09 is more capable of taking out somebody than all these vanilla midgets that were somehow able to flip over a limousine, randomly break, and it's not even impactful. They're breaking private property of a training facility by a multi-billion-dollar company. In the semblance that this is corny, just look at the ratings. Don't you think it's getting a bit worse on how in the hell we're actually getting a bigger audience? There's no story intent for this. Majority of the guys can't even show up for work because of COVID. And of course, we have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, one of the blandest guys that have the best look in the roster, face off for the world title. Their major focus is this isn't affecting anything else that Raw's doing. Woo, they broke a window and they flipped over a car. Isn't beating up a wrestler, or at least an authority figure or an employee, a bit more more threatening? And they're just vanilla and they're just screaming like Nikki Cross trying to act like a crazy, vindictive, insane girl. And look at her just getting jobbed out by Bayley that looks like some chick out of Space Chimps. Like, there's no captivation for me to actually waste my time to watch 3-hour programming of just wrestling and random crap happening. The most captivating part, to at least spike up a tiny bit of the Raw ratings, I regret to say this, but the Lana and Lashley crap. As bullcrap as that was, and basic as most of the segments were going to be, it captivated viewers because they, of course, knew that Lana and Rusev were legit married, and that was a surprising part. And literally, the feud literally started in the premiere part of Raw. So you knew this was going to be one of the most concentrated storylines that they were going through until they released them. But that's besides the point. It struck in viewers, and Rusev with a lot of potential got screwed over in this factoid. So the amount of 205 Live vindictive little midgets, crackheads that they have coming around here just looks bad. It just looks corny and it looks terrible. You could be like, oh, it's interesting. At least there's something different to watch for Raw. I just want something good to watch for Raw, just not something new. I just want something different. I want something entertaining. And we completely flew that off the window when you get rid of people like Tessa Blanchard. You don't show a lot more of Elias. You don't capitalize on some of the younger stars that you have in the business. You still feed people like Dolph Ziggler, Andrade, and Kevin Owens, and Apollo Crews more television time than any other gifted talent that we have here. The only positive of last week on Raw was literally Mickie James returning. That was my only reason coming back to watch the show when I was off to go get my dinner or something. And the Retribution faction, oh god, it's just so dumb. They're probably gonna do another takeover storyline, and I don't care. If you care, go ahead. Go be excited for something completely bland. There's already dumb teases of it being some NXT stars, Xavier Woods. I don't really want to care. All they seem is vanilla fat midgets with no semblance of making an interesting story. Oh god. But please take this with a grain of salt. This is like it's only been like 2 weeks since these guys actually made a debut. So I guess we still have a lot more time to go before we get more established with the Retribution and what's their plan, what's their goals, what's their strategies, what's the reason for attacking people and destroying WWE property. So I guess that's it comes with a little grain of salt. So there's more to establish, but I just don't like the look of it. I don't like the intrigue. Nothing about them shows like they're going to actually be important to WWE TV, and if they do, it's going to be very limited, and it's going to be very short-lived. That's my opinion on it. Like, freaking Otis being still holding on to the Money in the Bank briefcase. But that's just my opinion. Please try to subscribe, help me grow my channel a bit more. That's it coming from me.